appear our TV and my name na DBS. Spokesperson for the federal government, Dele Aleke, say the government go work on minimum wage as dem dey tok for state house after meeting between the federal government and the trade union congress wey last for about 3 hours. The spokesperson for the federal government, Dele, say dem go look at the practical demand. Say government dey tax holiday for workers. Dele say President Bola Tinubu will constitute a committee wey include state and organised labour and the private sector make dem study the minimum wage of Nigeria. According to wetin e tok, no disagreement with Nigeria Labour Congress over their demand for minimum wage. Say the representative go meet with the president to finalize decision on the demand. Say the absence of Nigeria Labour Congress no dey translate isolation of the group, as federal government dey try reach the parties before on Tuesday when dem go schedule strike. Meanwhile, trade union congress don maintain the federal government for the interest of the social dialogue make dem also reduce price of fuel. President of the trade union congress, Festus Osifo, say the union dey hopeful as the federal government promise to look into their demand to top, which is a review for the current minimum wage. Demand for review na minimum wage. Say the minimum today no be living wage. As we know say since dem no negotiate minimum wage means the lowest end or salary of any worker for Nigeria by law, and our current minimum wage na 80,000 naira and e too small. And una know say things don cost well for Nigeria. Bag of rice now na 50,000 naira and so many things. This thing wey government wan increase minimum wage, so na good improvement for Nigeria and e go favour us well. My people, how una see this matter? Wetin una get to talk for this matter? Abeg make una no forget to like, subscribe and follow our TV.
Well, as you all know, we had this reconvened meeting today. As we promised you a few days ago, after we had the initial meeting with the labor movement, we said we were going to reconvene today to keep the engagement on in order to diffuse the tension in the land as a result of the withdrawal of subsidy, which is a reality. Now, we are very happy to announce to Nigerians that this engagement has been very productive. The TUC that attended today's meeting presented a list of demands, and those demands we have studied and we are going to present to Mr. President for his consideration. But those demands, we can announce to Nigerians that a lot of the items on the list are not impracticable. What we need to do is to study the numbers very well, and then we have asked the TUC to also give us a leeway to consult, very exhaustively and come back on Tuesday, reconvene on Tuesday to actually look at the numbers, the viability, practicability of all the items that have been presented to us. Now, most important, top priority on the list, which the government is also looking at very seriously, and the president has announced before, is the issue of the minimum wage, which the labor movement has demanded as a consequence of the removal of the consequential impact of the removal of subsidy. So government is looking at that, and Mr. President is most likely going to constitute a tripartite committee. That is the committee of federal government and including the states, then the organized labor on the other part, and the private sector. Now, this is a tripartite arrangement. It will be a committee that will study all the dynamics of a wage increase, the percentages, the numbers, and the categories that will be affected. So by Tuesday, when we come back to reconvene and meet with the TUC again, the labor movement, we should have very concrete items to present to the world. But the most important thing for today is that we are making appreciable progress with the labor. Thank you very much.
What are the other demands beyond the minimum wage?
Sorry?
What other demands they bring to the table beyond the minimum wage?
Oh, it's a list, but we are not going to be listing all of those things now. We are not going to. The most important is the minimum wage. That is increase of minimum wage, because when this thing is removed, the argument of labor is that there is an immediate impact on the workers, on the purchasing power. Because price of fuel has gone up, so that would necessarily reduce the purchasing power of the average worker. So the next thing of immediate consequence is to increase the purchasing power of the worker. And so that, to me and to all of us on this side, is a topmost priority on the list. There are other things like the tax holidays, which will be some categories of workers will be beneficiaries, but those are all. The most important is the minimum wage.
NLC are not here, so are you negotiating separately with them?
No, we are not, but we are making efforts to reach NLC.